You're listening to the Limitless Broadcasting Network.
All it takes is faith and trust. Oh, and something I forgot. Dust. Just a little bit of pixie dust.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Turn to page 394.
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?
Welcome, Pixie Dusters. We're your favorite hosts. I'm Sammi.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome to the Pixie Dust Twins podcast featuring Dan.
Greetings.
Yay! And produced by Limitless Broadcasting.
Don't forget to check out all of our social media after the show: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc.
You can go see Sammi be very mad at me on TikTok.
You can see comments. Maybe I'll
Yes, comments.
Maybe I'll stitch it later or duet it
That
or
would
whatever.
be funny too.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'd be funny.
We'll see what I feel like doing. I don't know. Last night I was just like, I can't do this because I'll probably be extra rude.
Nice.
So,
I was expecting something rude, so your comments did not surprise me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, good morning, Pixie Dusters. We are in the middle of our Potter summer, of course. Last week we did Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
This week we are going into the third book, which many Potter fans would say is not only the best book, but also the best movie that was made in the series. So super excited to talk about that.
Yes.
A disclaimer, just like last week, I apparently my reading life is not what it used to be. And every time I tried to read, I either fell asleep or something else was going on. So I cheated and got everything that I'm going to tell you off of leakycauldron.com. But as I was reading like a lot of them, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah. Like it was familiar. So I'm like, okay, I didn't forget the books. I just needed reminders.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
A
fair.
little refresher course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little refresher. Okay. So books, like we did the last two episodes, we're going to talk about the things they did differently in the books than what they did in the movies. And then Sammi, of course, will go into the movie facts. And then at the end, we will debate about scenes and quotes, and Sammi will try to get me to like Snape. So, you know, there's our format. That's
It was a
literally
bit-
our format.
I'm gonna be honest, these next two movies, it was a bit difficult for me to pull out the good
Even I'll
stuff
admit,
for
like,
Snape.
I'm a fan of the guy, but even as I was watching Azkaban, I'm like, you're not a very nice person.
I know, I was like, Snivelous. Stop
Right.
it.
Snivelous.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a little preview then for the next two episodes, and then when we get into like 6 and 7, then I'm in trouble. But yeah, I'll think of a better argument on 6 and 7 when I'm, awake, because I'm doing this on no coffee today. I have no creamer, so I have no coffee. So
bless.
this will be fun.
Why don't
Hey,
you
I
just
did
go
the
straight
intro
black?
without coffee.
Hey, join my world. Just go straight black. That's what I
Ugh, no.
do. Oh, how dare you?
Because it tastes too bitter for me. I can't do it.
I
It
used to
tastes
do
pure,
black.
like soil, life-giving soil.
I'm just gonna ignore that statement and go on.
Okay.
Pure.
Because I
tasty
don't know how
coffee.
to I don't know how to what's the word I'm looking for? Respond.
See,
Okay.
You didn't know that if you had had coffee, you would have had a
I know, I'm like, that was an easy word.
quick.
Respond.
Oh please, when I have 2 cups of coffee, I don't think of the right words. And I know I just threw myself under the bus, but I'm okay with it. Prisoner of Azkaban book. We already got off topic. So leakycauldron.com is where I got all this information. They actually are a really good site with a lot of good information. So if you are a Potterhead, go check out leakycauldron.com. www.harrypotter.org if you have not already done so. Okay, so the person who wrote this article kind of split up things in actual categories. So we got like rearranging or shortening the plot, swapped or altered quotes, some stuff about the Marauders, some stuff about the classes, Dursley, Quidditch. So it's broken up. So it's not in like book order like what I did with the other books. Okay, so first off, Harry Potter's broom. In the book, Harry did not get the firebolt at the very end of the movie and right off into the sunset. That was a very like movie scene.
Right off into the sunset.
He got the broom shortly after his first Quidditch match when the Nimbus 2000 was destroyed, and Professor McGonagall kept the broom until it got tested, because if you guys remember, Hermione's like, you don't know where this came from. You don't know. It could be cursed. It could be this. And everyone was picked at her when she went and tattled McGonagall.
But she had a point. She was like, Sirius may have sent it to you,
which he did.
He did, but he wasn't mad at Harry. So
yeah,
it was okay. But yeah, she was
again
right.
Hermione trying to save Potter's life.
Exactly, and he's so like ungrateful.
Yes, and you know what we forgot to do last episode is tally how many times Hermione saved him in Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, we didn't in Chamber of Secrets. We didn't do that.
We didn't. We only did 3, which were Sorcerer's Stone. So she found the Basilisk article. What else did she do anything else in that movie?
Oh, what did she do? I'm trying to think back. I feel like they did something. Did she, when they like went underground or something? Like when they went into the chamber itself, didn't she do something at that point?
She wasn't in the chamber.
She was petrified.
That's right.
That's why I don't think she did. Like
she wasn't really in it.
No, she really wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was one last time.
If we think of another, we'll add it. But yeah.
Okay. Because eventually we're gonna get to Hermione saving him. So we gotta keep it up. The Fidelis charm. I don't even remember if this is a movie, but this charm was described in the book as a means of magical protection. It was left out in the movie. Again, I don't remember the significance of this charm. Anybody remember? You listened to the books. Do you remember them talking about the charm?
I'm trying to remember when they would have used it.
It was probably like for Harry to be protected, but wait,
maybe it was just for the Hogwarts.
Isn't this the charm that they put on the Dursleys to keep him protected in the house?
Oh no, I think you're right. I think it is the Fidelis charm. So that's why he can go back there.
Yes, that's and
that
it's
sounds
protection.
Familiar.
That's why by 17, when he's 17, it breaks, and that's when Voldemort can find him.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm brain fart. The Hogsmeade trip. There's only one trip to Hogsmeade in the movie, unlike the book where there are actually 2.
Nice.
Yep. Because he actually, like in the book, he gets to Hogsmeade to they bring him to Hogsmeade because from the night bus, and then he actually, like, there's scenes in the book where he actually goes back into, or no, this is Hogsmeade, not Diagon Alley. Yeah, it does it with Diagon Alley too. There's more than one trip to Diagon Alley than what they do in the movie, because he actually goes and explores and stays there for multiple days in a row in the book.
He's there a while.
Yeah, and they don't have that in here, so adding. But Hogsmeade, there's 2 trips to Hogsmeade in the book and not in the movie, because in the movie they do the Shrieking Shack scene all at once, like they do everything all at once. The Shrieking Shack scene is actually not in the first trip. I actually went back in and looked too, because I couldn't remember, and it's actually in a different spot, because when they go do that scene in the book, Ron is not being bullied by Draco and his people. He's actually being bullied by both Draco and Harry at the same time. Who's being invisible. He's actually pelting him with mud while he's covered in clothes. Okay, so fun friend.
Yeah.
He's messing with him. And this is, I remember as soon as I read this, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Harry's cloak actually slips off while he's doing this, and Draco sees his face, and Harry has to like rush back to the castle. And Snape actually catches him, but in this scene, I mean, instead of like Harry being out in the middle of the night to try to find Peter Pettigrew, he's actually saved by Lupin during this scene because Draco sees him in Hogsmeade. So this is interesting. Yeah, so it's a little bit different. He doesn't wander the castle at night in the movie. Let's see here. Harry Potter's school books. He gets his copy of the Monster Book of Monsters by Owl Post from Hagrid. So he doesn't actually go, or he doesn't, it's not like waiting for him in his room. Along with the newspaper clipping of the Weasleys. So Hagrid sent him the clipping, a birthday card, and a sneakoscope. I don't remember what the sneakoscope does, but
that's the one that's supposed to tell you when there's like untrustworthy people nearby.
That's right.
A deleted scene, but not
that's right. And then later on, of course, like I said, he's free to roam Diagon Alley. In the movie, Fudge is at Leaky Cauldron, who has his books organized, whereas Harry in the book gets them himself. See here, the time travel sequence in the book. Harry and Hermione are extremely careful not to interact with their past selves, yet in the movie Hermione throws rocks at the past Harry and Hermione, and she makes a comment about her hair. So she actually doesn't save them in the book like she does in the movie. So I don't know, do we count that or do we not count that?
I would count it. I mean, she still saves him
technically. Yeah, I mean,
okay,
yeah, it's part of it. So
yeah, I mean, it's just Hermione being Hermione. Like,
yeah.
So the slap actually happens differently in the book. It does happen. Hermione slapping Draco. My husband was so great in the second movie, in my opinion, and then he just becomes a little word I can't say in this movie.
Grinch. We'll use that word.
Sure, okay. We'll use Grinch. I was gonna say whiny, but Grinch will work.
Yeah, it's whiny Grinch.
Sure. But she doesn't slap him on the way to, or she actually slaps him on the way back from a Care Magical Creatures lesson, not from when they're going to Hagrid's hut, which I just love the fact that she slaps him. Like, she has the nerve to do it. That really, in my opinion, that showed her Gryffindor side very well. Like her snippy Gryffindor side.
It took Harry ages to actually stand up for himself. So Hermione actually got in there and
yep.
So.
Yep. Snape goes on a tirade about Harry's father in the book. Snape treats Harry to a tirade about how Harry's father was a troublemaker at school, but this scene was actually not featured in the movie. You don't see anything like this until the 5th movie, which I think he does it again in the book, but I will find out in a couple weeks. But it actually happened sooner. Like, again, this is why I don't like Snape. Snape is a jerk face, and that's being nice about it. In the book, it's worse. In the book,
swine.
Yeah, there's that. So were you, Snape?
Tis true.
Professor Trelawny in the movie makes her real prediction when Harry is returning a crystal ball to her after class, but in the book, this prediction happens at the end of Harry's divination final. So just little change. Harry and Hermione's argument, many of the petty arguments Ron and Hermione have during the film are left out of the movie. They have a lot more in the book. Ron does not also spend half the year not speaking to Hermione over Crookshank's hunting of Scabbers in the film. So Ron gets over it much quicker. Let's see here. We already talked about the firebolt. She never mentions her suspicions about the firebolt. Wait. In the movie, Hermione never mentions her suspicions about the firebolt because we received it at the end of the movie,
right?
And they already knew Sirius was good. I love in the book Sirius and Crookshank's friendship.
Yes.
You see that the cat and the dog working together, and you're like, "What's going on?" And then you figure out it's Sirius. You're like, "Oh, that makes sense." He was having the cat get the mouse because it's Pettigrew. That made sense.
Yeah.
Aunt Marge in the movie combines 2 meals into one large one, and in the book, Aunt Marge breaks a glass at a different meal than the one when Harry blows her up. So that was a little weird detail. The romance that blossoms between Percy and Penelope is left out completely from the film, which we know this from the last movie as well, because he's already a little giddy schoolboy. Apparently the prank, so Draco's prank, In the movie, he does it during Care of Magical Creatures. In the book, he actually does it at the Quidditch match.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out as Dementors on the field to spook Harry, and they got in serious trouble for that one.
They did, yes.
Yes, they did. Let's see here. Different quotes. So Ron argues with Snape. In the book, when Snape calls Hermione an insufferable know-it-all, Ron actually defends Hermione, yet in the movie, he agrees.
Interesting.
So sometimes I feel like I'm wondering, as we get further into these books, the reason why Ron and Hermione ended up together is because of book Ron and not movie Ron.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find
Yeah,
out.
I can. You're right, because I now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember in the book, like, their relationship was, one, a lot more nuanced, and you saw it develop a lot quicker. In the movie, it feels like it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So.
Draco and Buckbeak. So Draco does not refer to Buckbeak as that bloody chicken in the book.
Huh.
I thought that was a funny reference. So
But it is pretty funny.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Only in the movie does Draco threaten to get even with that jumped up mudblood when Hermione punches him. So he doesn't say that in the book. These are just little things. Dumbledore does not pretend as though he has no idea what happened when Hermione and Harry returned from the Time Turner trip in the book. However, in the movie, he does. Well, we have a new Dumbledore, and he's not playing Dumbledore. So,
Right.
you know, it happens. In the book, Ron asks what special powers Scabbers has in a pet shop and is told that Scabbers is a normal garden rat and would live for 3 years. In the movie, we get the information about the lifespan of rats when Sirius mentions it in the Shrieking Shack. So Ron's already a little suspicious because the rat's 12 and is supposed to be dead. So
Well dead, yes.
who knows? Some information about the Marauders. There are many differences in the importance of the Marauders to Harry's journey. Here are just a few. The map itself, the backstory of the map and how it came to be was never mentioned. Was this in the movie or was it in the... They mentioned it in the book, didn't they?
How did he find out that they were... I'm trying to remember if they really
I believe
explained
it was mentioned in the I believe Lupin explained it in the book, but not in the movie.
They definitely don't explain it in the movie at all.
No, it had to be explained in the book because we know that the Marauders are the boys from or the Lupin, and you know. So the backstory in the movie, the backstory is never mentioned. They never mention in the movie that the three of the Marauders were Animagus or Animagi as the plural. Sirius escaping from Azkaban was not mentioned in the book.
No, they mention it in the book. They don't mention it in the movie.
They don't mention it in the movie.
They don't explain the whole thing.
Oh, how Sirius escaped. Yeah, because he became he was able to turn into the dog and it messed up the Dementors, blah blah blah. In the book, it's Lupin who sees Pettigrew on the map, and in the movie, it was Harry. And then the book features insults from each of the Marauders on the map, but you only hear what Mooney has to say in the movie.
It was a lot funnier in the book.
It is a lot funnier. So good. Some of the magical classes in Care of Magical Creatures, only Harry and Draco are seen interacting with Buckbeak in the movie, while in the book, several other students interact with the Hippogriff. I feel like that would make more sense. I feel like then when he goes after Draco, it makes more sense because I like all these students. You're a bad apple.
Not you.
Right.
Not you. Snape's class, all potion classes were cut from the movie, but Snape does substitute for Lupin when he assigns the papers on werewolves, but there are Snape potion classes in the book. They cut all the transfiguration classes from the movie, and there was a couple of them in the book. And then Neville's Boggart. In the book, during a Defense Against the Dark Arts class, Professor Lupin asks Neville to describe his grandmother's clothing in detail. Yet in the movie, he tells Neville he doesn't let Neville give the details, pretty much. So you actually get the details, which it makes sense. That makes sense in the movie because the movie's visual. So you're gonna see it.
see it.
Yeah, and in the book,
talk about it.
I think she wanted us to have a specific image of that in mind instead of us
For
doing
Snape.
like our own imagination.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yep. Something at the Dursleys. When the book, so when Harry's studying, when the book starts, Harry is writing a paper on witch burning. Yet when the movie starts, Harry is practicing magic under the covers. Again, that's another loophole or pothole. Why is he practicing Lumos under the covers
You
and
cannot
not
do
getting
that.
a
I
letter? But
100%.
then
You cannot do
literally
that.
he blows up his aunt and he gets a
Exactly.
letter.
I had 100% forgotten about the fact that he was doing the Lumos thing.
You
I
cannot
watched
do
it, I was
that.
like, wait a minute, you can't do that. Why are you not in trouble for that?
That's
Like,
what
is
you
that
should
just
be in
one of
trouble
those like
for.
you can't do magic except for this one thing because it's harmless? Like, no, that doesn't feel right.
No.
It defeats the whole purpose of it.
No,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, you're a minor, you can have this one little sip of alcohol. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah. It's a very cool intro. I will give them that.
It is.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense.
But yeah, it goes against the laws of the magical world.
Mm-hmm.
Quidditch, the Quidditch tournament. There's only one Quidditch match in the movie, which is Hufflepuff and Gryffindor, and eventually winning the Quidditch Cup is not shown. But in the book, the book discusses all 3 Quidditch matches, and they're discussed in chapters 9, 13, and 15. And they did win the Quidditch Cup. Woods last year, he gets to graduate with winning the Quidditch Cup.
Yep.
I think against Slytherin, isn't it? No. Yeah. Because the first one is against Hufflepuff, second one's against Ravenclaw, and then the third one is against
That's why this was like the
Slytherin.
big one. This was like the big build up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember in the book they had been talking about that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And Quidditch kind of goes to the wayside until the 5th movie, and even then in the 5th movie, or the 5th book, not the 5th movie, the 5th book, no, not the 5th. Which one does Ron come in? 6th?
It's the 6th. Yes. 6th. And Harry's captain. Yeah. So in the 6th. So it's the 6th one, really, when we start to see it again.
Yep.
Huh.
In the movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, in the
book.
movies. Not the books. I think it's there the whole time, but
Yeah.
Not in the
Except for, of
movie.
course, Goblet of Fire, because they're doing.
Goblet of Fire
well,
is
there's
its own thing.
a whole Quidditch thing at the
other-
beginning, so we do have that. The book.
Yes.
Not really in the movie.
No, not in the movie.
But it's like Quidditch. It's not like, hey,
Yeah,
here's
that's the world
Quidditch.
stage.
Hogwarts doing
Yeah.
Quidditch.
Relationships. It said shipping and relationships, but
That's what we
relationships.
do. Young adults, young adult novels. You ship everybody.
Yes.
Harry and Cho, there is no mention of his crush on Cho in this movie, but there is in the book. He is starting to notice Cho in this book, and there's more talk about it.
I do remember a lot of that in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which makes sense. He's 13.
Yeah.
Girls aren't as courteous anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I made up a word.
I like it.
All words
Ron
are
and
made up.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair.
Ron and Hermione, while there's no hint of a budding relationship in the 3rd book, there is in the movie when Ron and Hermione hold hands in the Care of Magical Creatures class and at the Shrieking Shack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it
they're
was
building
more
it
of
up.
a, she got scared for Harry and grabs Ron's hand. So I don't know how that's.
Yeah. They're just trying to build it up because they knew it was coming. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Some additions to the movie or to the book. Some additions that the book doesn't have. And this is like one of my favorite additions is the shrunken heads. They are fantastic. They are amazing. I love them. They
Mhm.
appeared in the 3 broomsticks and the night bus.
Mm.
So the 3 broomsticks, the fact that they weren't allowed in the 3 broomsticks that day when when the Hogwarts kids are coming in, like it was weird to me. I'm like, how do you not let the kids into the 3 broomsticks? Like they in the movie, they weren't allowed to come in, remember? And
Mhm.
Harry had to sneak in.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then of course on the night bus. And then the Hogwarts choir is added with the frog choir.
Yes.
Oh, was that in the
Yes.
book?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It was.
Love the choir.
And that's everything.
The end.
Wow.
Now we're done.
Blew
No.
through that. Yeah, we're done. All right, have a good
End
day.
of the episode. It's been great.
Goodbye.
So long. May the force be
Oh
ever in
boy,
your
oh
favor,
boy.
Mr. Potter.
Yeah, I have my Millennium
noticed.
Falcon heart on this morning.
Right.
Mhm.
Nice. That's all.
Yeah.
I know, it's one of my newer shirts from my trip.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I only have one Harry Potter shirt, and it's like my Disney Harry Potter one. I've worn it the last 4 episodes. I'm like, I might need to wear something else.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
zero Harry Potter merch, like at all. I need to get some.
No.
Yeah, I need more like clothes.
I agree. Me too. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk movies, Sammy.
Movies. Woo. All right. Okay. So this movie also rated PG as previous movies. I would like to read the descriptions. So this one has frightening moments, creature violence, and mild language. I'm trying to remember what the language was.
Bloody hell.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Bloody hell. Okay.
Cursing in England.
Yeah, gotcha. This is still kids and family fantasy adventure for the genre. The new director, Alfonso Cuarón. He's new. No more Chris Columbus in this one. But
he's
Chris,
a producer.
He is a producer, yes. Only for this one. And then he was like, I got kids and I need to see them grow up. So I'm out. Basically is what happened.
Let me go.
I think he wanted to stay on, but
yeah.
Children. So, yeah. David Heyman is back again, and Mark Radcliffe, same producers as before. Writers, J.K. Rowling, Steve Kloves. This was released on May 31st, 2004, and its box office gross in the USA was $249.4 million.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
That's just USA.
Yes, it is. I know the worldwide is like insane, but I was like, we'll just do, because we're here.
Yeah.
We'll do USA. Runtime, 2 hours and 21 minutes. Ratings, it's got a 90% ratings from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 86% audience score, and a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. And I feel like I'm tracking it now on my phone because it's easier than me trying to switch through all the notes. But I'm like, I feel like this might be the peak. And then I think we're going to go down in the ratings. Maybe not for Deathly Hallows. We'll see how those rate, but at least
IMDb are haters. This should
they're always
be
haters.
A 9.
Yeah, that's why I like Rotten Tomatoes, because I feel like it's a better vibe over there for the ratings. But I always like to include IMDb so we can see how much people suck. So, yeah.
People suck.
They do.
Yeah. Want to be miserable.
They do. Yeah. So cast, we got all of our favorites, whatever. But we do have a new Dumbledore, as Ashley already tried to complain about. Michael Gambon. Sadly. Yes, he has come in. We have Lupin appear. Sirius Black is in this. Peter Pettigrew. And Sybil Trelawny, played by the wondrous Emma Thompson, whom we adore. So I was very happy that she made it in this movie. It's great.
Miss Cruella.
Yes.
Oh, no, not Cruella.
No, the Baroness.
Baroness.
Yeah. Yeah, the Baroness. So epic. All right, so I got your trivia for you. So for Crookshanks, they used 2 Persian red cats, Cracker Jack and Pumpkin.
Oh,
I always just love these names. It's so cute. Now, the cats look too pretty to be Crookshanks. So they saved their fur that they were shedding, rolled it into balls, and I saw this a little bit in a video, and clipped it onto the cats so that it would look more mangy. Like, they would just, it was a better fit for Crookshanks to look a little less pretty.
To be mangy.
Yeah. He needed to look a little sketchy. So, I thought that was funny that they did that. Now, for Dumbledore, Sir Ian McKellen actually turned down the role of Dumbledore because he was in Lord of the Rings as Gandalf. And he said, I had enough trouble living up to 1 legend. 2 would be too much to hope for. So that was one of his reasons for not wanting to do it. And then he also stated that it would have been inappropriate to take on the role because Richard Harris had called McKellen a dreadful actor. So also out of respect for him, he was like, I'll pass.
Wow.
I was like, ooh, okay, well.
Now, see, that would just make me want to do it more.
And I'll be like, I'm going to show you.
Right.
I'm going to be the best Dumbledore
ever.
Yeah,
you like me now.
What
I
up?
outlived you.
But yeah, he decided not to do it.
They're so much classier than we Americans are.
Yeah.
No, they're not, they make it look classy, but it's really just as rude.
Probably.
Rude or not.
They're not as
obvious.
We're just as rude. We're just more upfront about it.
Yes. It's less obvious when you're British.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they think it's less obvious. We see you.
Yeah, we know.
They're very subtle. You got to pay attention.
That's very true. So this script for the movie makes no mention of Professor Flitwick, but they wanted to keep Warwick Davis involved. So Alfonso Cuarón came up with the idea of having him play the choir director. And then Mike Newell was like, hey, I like your look. And they were like, we're just going to keep using it. So now you're Flitwick again. And
there you go.
That's why his
look changed.
Yep, starting in this one. That's why. Because and I think I had seen somewhere too where Warwick was like, that's fine. Because it's a lot less makeup and whatnot for him to look this way. So
yeah,
easier mornings for him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Gregory Goyle. So he appeared in a few scenes, but he's largely absent from the movie. And this is because Josh Hurden injured his arm and he was unable to film certain scenes. So that's why he was missing. Okay. Bronson Webb was cast as an unnamed Slytherin boy referred to as Pike in the script who filled his role. So
I always wondered what happened to him. Like I figured it out later, but like I remember like watching him like, you're not Goyle.
Who are you?
You're skinny and tall. Who are you?
Why are you here? Why are you in this movie? Yeah, now we know. So, yeah. So I got some stuff specifically about the new director. So Alfonso Cuarón had never read the Harry Potter novels or even seen the first two movies when he was offered the job as director. And Guillermo del Toro actually convinced him, saying, don't be stupid, read them immediately. So we can thank him.
Good job, Toro.
I was like, yeah, way to go. I appreciate you even more. So that's how we got that. And in order to acquaint himself with his two new lead actors and his new lead actress, sorry, the wording was throwing me off on that. So for his new leads, okay, so that's where we're going with this.
There's each of new in there.
Well, they're new to him. So like,
okay,
like you get it, like they're new to him.
Okay,
yeah, that's why I was struggling with this role. So he had each of them write an essay about their characters from a first person point of view. Yes. So Emma Watson, just like Hermione, went overboard and supposedly wrote like 16 pages. Daniel Radcliffe, just like Harry, wrote like a 1-page summary. And Rupert, just like Ron, just didn't do it. So there you go.
There you go.
Very fitting. So that's a good way to get a vibe on them. And then when they're coming up with the Dementors, so Cuarón had an idea that when the Dementors approached the Hogwarts Express, the rain would turn into ice. And he has a very thick Mexican accent. So when he was trying to talk to the visual effects team, they thought he said eyes and not ice. So they even made a storyboard which had eyes falling from the sky, which they presented to him. And he was just like, no, that's just not what I wanted. Ice, like frozen. No. Yeah.
That's funny.
That made me laugh. I was like, oh, communication issues already. And in this one, if you guys notice, the wardrobe starts to change a little bit. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione are actually wearing everyday clothes more often than their Hogwarts uniforms. So you get more of their personalities. And that was a choice by the director. And he also gave the rest of the students permission to wear their uniforms any way they wanted to bring a greater sense of realism to the school. So that's why some of them are like super neat and other ones are kind of like messy and look a little bit more disorganized.
The only thing is if you know anything about those like prep schools, whether British or American, is when you have uniforms like this, they do uniform checks. They make sure everything is in order. They make sure everything is neat and organized.
Yeah.
So I understand you wanted to bring more personality, but you just took away from what the school is actually about. And that's taking away the individuality and focusing on the education. And I don't think they do this in the book. Like, I don't think she talks about them wearing anything other than their uniform.
They're always in their school
robes.
They're
always in their school robes, and they're supposed to be. So it's a little jarring for me on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's an artistic choice. Like, I think it's one of those, again, translating book to film.
Exactly.
Well, it's just not book to film. It's also like just the culture of that type of schooling in Britain anyways. Like, he kind of went against what that culture actually is like.
True.
Because this is essentially a boarding school.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It's a boarding school in Britain.
For witches and wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elite. The elite school. I still think there has to be a public like wizarding school somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
I want to book about
it. Yeah. There you go. Your next book.
I want to book about it.
Your next book, you'll write it for us.
Oh, no, I wanted someone else to write it, but okay.
Nope, Ashley's going to do it. You heard it here first.
If you've thought about it, somebody has thought about it and put it on fan fiction.
That's very true. You can probably Google it and find it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all like smut novels, probably.
See,
It's
that's
like
dumb.
90% of them.
It's true. That's what the internet does.
exactly.
Makes everything dirty.
And some of them are super wild.
Mm-hmm. I haven't read them, but I'm I know how the internet works.
You know the stories, so yeah.
Well, so back in college, there was like websites where you could. There was a specific one I don't remember what it was called, where you could like write your own stories and put them up and read everybody else's, and you comment. And I did it for a little bit. Like I put my own stuff up.
Yeah.
Wasn't it's called Neba now. No, it was a different site. I can't remember what it's called. And they weren't smutty. They were like, you had the romance, and they tried different things, but it wasn't bad. And then as the year, like now I try to go back and I look and I'm like, right away, I'm like, oh, nope. Okay, never mind. No. I want to plot.
Tumblr and Reddit. That's what it's there. They did that.
I got off Tumblr a long time ago.
That's
I never
true,
got
though.
on it. I've been on it, but I've never like made an account.
I was on it when it first started in college, and it was great then because it was just sharing other stuff. But then again, the internet twists it.
Yeah.
We never left the caves, man. We never stopped being cave people.
No.
First thing you draw on the wall is just Ata.
It's so accurate.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy. All right. Anyways, so back to Curon. It was also his idea to have the Hogwarts choir singing as the students enter the school, and he suggested using Double, Double, Toil and Trouble from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
So perfect. That fits so well.
Love it.
And John Williams was like, heck yeah. So they came up with the tune and the lyrics, and it was used throughout the movie. And they even used it as part of a tagline, something wicked this way comes. So,
yep.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be honest, I actually thought that was like always the song. I didn't know that was just a John Williams thing.
Yep, they collaborated.
Because it was never a double, double, Toil and Trouble song that I know of.
No, I see. I was never that versed in like the Shakespearean stuff, so I just assumed that was like some ancient song from literature or something.
No, Double, Double, Toil and Trouble is just their spells as they're talking to Macbeth. And they're different. It's pretty much they're telling Macbeth, like predicting the future. They're kind of like the Fates. They're Shakespeare's version of the Fates, and Double, Double, Toil and Trouble is just like what they kind of say as they're going over their cauldrons and different things.
Cool. Yeah. So there you go. And speaking of John Williams, this is the final Harry Potter movie to feature a score composed by him.
So sad.
I know. So he's credited. He's credited throughout the film franchise because of the main motif, which is Hedwig's theme, but it's adapted for other movies going forward. So he never returned.
He came back in later ones, though. Didn't we establish that?
No, he didn't. Apparently, I thought he did too, and then I got very sad.
Wow.
We're only on the third one. It's like, yeah. And there's something fun at the end. So John Williams' score ends with a reminder of one of Harry's dangers to come. So throughout this movie, he uses a harpsichord?
Where is it? Harpsichord.
Harpsichord. See, I was like, Dan will tell me. I'm not even gonna look this up.
Is it? I think. Wait. Where is it at?
It's under by John Williams, the second
bullet point.
Page. What page is it?
I don't know. What page are we on?
Page 6.
We're on pages.
No, page 5.
So it's not 394?
No.
If only.
If only.
We would be here for hours.
We would just turn to it. It's fine. We wouldn't need to do with all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, harpsichord.
Okay, harpsichord. All right. So use this motif to indicate the presence of Peter Pettigrew. And then if you watch the credits, when Harry says Knox at the end, there's a pause, and then the motif briefly returns, which hints that Pettigrew will be returning in a big way, which he does.
Yeah. I understand, like, the Knox was really cool how they ended the movie because they started it with Lumos. But again.
It's all Italian, yeah.
But again.
They should not have done that, but
they shouldn't have.
They did it, so
they've done it in every movie. They might as well do it in all of them.
I know, like, just ignore the entire rule at this point,
and only get in trouble for the ones they want them to.
Exactly, pick and choose.
Oh yeah.
So we have some movie set fun. The cast was told that the Honeydukes candy was lacquer coated, but it wasn't. They just want to make sure that they weren't going to be eating it in between takes. So they lied to them. And that just made me laugh. So I would do the same thing if there were a bunch of kids in there. Be like, no, it's not real. It's all covered.
Someone probably ate it anyway.
There's probably some dumb kid that was like, oh, let's try it. And then, thankfully they didn't get seriously injured doing that.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of Honeydukes, this set for Honeydukes was previously used as Ollivander's wand shop in Sorcerer's Stone and Flourish and Blotts in the Chamber of Secrets. So again, they redid the set for that.
Similar.
Yeah, they just keep reusing the sets, which I don't blame them. It's a lot of money to build all that. And during filming, all of the pockets on Tom Felton's robes were sewn shut so that he would stop sneaking food on set. And that made me laugh for Ashley. So there you go. That's what he was doing. As a 13, 14-year-old.
Right there.
I would still have food in my pockets as well.
Yeah, I understand. It's a long day, man, on set.
Absolutely. You got to keep that energy going.
Exactly. Snack.
So as we talked about, the script called for Hermione to slap Malfoy, because that's, what she does in the book, as opposed to punching him in the scene. And I guess Tom Felton actually told Emma Watson to slap him, but he didn't mean like really hit me. And she did. She smacked him across the face as hard as she could. And then she felt super bad afterwards. And I wish we could have seen that because it's so funny.
So I don't know if you guys, I don't know which version of you have, which DVD collection you have of this, Sammy, but on the extra, like the extra DVD one, they do a bunch of, did you ever watch the interviews with the Shrunken Heads?
No.
Okay, so on the DVD, there's interviews. They interview the character, like the actors and actresses, the Shrunken Heads with, I think Tom interviews everyone, and they talk about this on there. Like some of these things you've brought up, they've talked about on there. I'm like, so I would like watch the movie and then just watch the interviews.
Watch the extras. Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, so this is like a big one that I've seen a million times, but during the filming of the sleeping bag scene, director Alfonso Cuarón, Sir Michael Gambon, and Alan Rickman played a practical joke on Daniel Radcliffe, who wanted his sleeping bag next to a girl that he liked at the time. They hid a remote-controlled operated whoopee cushion in his sleeping bag and set it off during the scene. So Daniel was trying really hard to stay in character, but everyone else just started cracking up. And I just love it because you get to see that little snippet where they're all having fun on the set. So yeah, it's a good blooper to look for.
I'm glad you mentioned, because I couldn't remember which one. I couldn't remember if it was Alan Rickman or Michael Gambon who did it, and it turns out it was all of them. So
it was everybody. Yes.
That for me.
Yes.
There's an interview of Rickman telling that story. I don't remember where
I remember
I found
the
it,
interview.
but
Yeah, they just die laughing when it happens. And it's just it's a cute little thing to watch.
Daniel.
Yeah, he's a teenager. They just made it so much worse.
Oh yeah.
I love it. It's so funny. And to make the night bus appear as if it was zipping through traffic at an extremely high speed, the scenes were filmed with the bus driving at a normal speed, and then the rest of the traffic was at a snail's pace. And then they advanced the film through the camera at a slower rate so it would be advanced on screen. So then when the scene was played back at normal speed, the bus appeared to be driving super fast. Which I kind of forgot they like literally had this stupid bus literally built and driving around because it looks so incredibly dangerous. Even when they're just driving it on set, I'm like, it's going to fall over.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that. No. Sometimes.
Yeah. Even when I watched it, I was like, triple decker. I know it's magic, but like, really?
No, it's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary.
It's like a Salvador Dali dreamscape or something.
True.
Well, they had beds instead of seats, so they had to be able to fit more witches
they were
and
all like
wizards.
disjointed too. There was no organization. They were all just kind of thrown in there.
Yeah,
and nobody was bothered.
Moving back and
triple
forth.
layer, throw some beds in there. You're totally fine. Don't buckle into anything at all.
And nobody cared except
all
Harry.
of them are just sleeping soundly with no problems, and
Totally
Harry's
fine.
like, "I'm gonna die."
This is it.
And he very nearly does when he smashes into the window.
Yes,
I know
exactly.
I don't think he did that in the book.
They don't describe that in the book that I recall.
Yeah, I think that was just a movie thing.
But it was pretty funny in the movie.
It was.
Oh my gosh. And then last thing, so the bats that are seen flying around Hagrid's huts are real. They were very challenging to train, and Daniel Radcliffe stated that they tended to urinate everywhere. So that sounds super, super pleasant.
Fun.
Lovely.
But the animal trainers kept them under control using food rewards, and apparently they especially liked bananas. So there's a fun fact for you.
That is
Bats
fun.
like bananas. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then this thing I just thought was interesting. They had a note on here that J.K. Rowling based the Dementors on her battle with
I've read that.
depression.
I didn't read
And
that, yeah.
I was like, I'm going to add that in because I think they just, like, when you think of it that way, not just them being like these evil things,
Yep.
whatever. But when you think about it that way, the way she describes it, I'm just like, this woman is just, her way
That's-
with words, it's insane.
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
that's definitely something I picked up on when I read the book. So I
Mhm.
was like, this
Mhm.
feels like a metaphor for something genuinely real.
Exactly. And it's so well explained.
And so to become a Dementor, you literally you get what the Dementor's kiss, and that is literally taking your soul and your hope and your
Mhm.
ever willing being out of yourself.
Mhm.
And that is very much what depression can feel like, is
Mhm.
you have no hope, you have no you feel like a shell of yourself.
Exactly.
and
It's insane. Empty shell.
it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just, what a way
bet
to
it was
introduce that
very-
to kids too. Like
Yeah.
a way to describe it, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't realize how much power there is in like giving something like a physical form to describe something. Because
To
when
try
it's
and
just an
understand it.
abstract thought, it feels so much more powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Yep.
But
Yeah. And then I love how
Beauty of-
it's focused on Harry too and how he's dealing with it and the others don't understand. And I'm like,
right,
Yeah.
which that happens at that age, especially. I mean, you're
yeah.
growing up, it's just mind, body's just going through all kinds of just fire alarms, and you're just like, what's happening to me? And you feel like nobody gets it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
the power of literature.
Mhm.
Yes. And then to move on to my favorite section, Snape's redemption.
Really,
Again,
the first one? Really?
This was hard. So he didn't have to. Okay, so he bruised
Yes, he did.
the complex. It's very complex. They made this very specifically. They pointed this out. Very complex Wolfsbane potion for Lupin. He didn't have to do that. He could have messed it
I
up.
guarantee
He
you,
could have been like, oh, a
Dumbledore-
forgotten ingredient, and then just let Lupin suffer.
No.
Lupin even says, I'm very grateful to Snape because of what he did.
Dumbledore probably made him do it and threatened him about it.
We don't know. We never saw that.
We'll never know.
So I don't count that because we don't know under circumstances of why
You
he
can't
actually
not count it. It's on the page. It's
Nope,
literally
I
right
don't
in there.
count it. Don't count it.
Anyway, and then in the movie version,
I'll give you this.
when Lupin, the Wolfie Lupin, pops out, he does take the kids, Harry, Hermione, and Ron, and he shoves them behind him and he protects them. So when I saw that, when I was rewatching that, I was like, aha, I'm gonna write this.
But hold on, is it in here?
I don't care about the book because
Is it in here?
for one, he was like knocked out the whole freaking time.
Exactly.
Basically. So I don't care about
Exactly.
your book logic. All right. I said on
The
the
book
screen,
logic is more important.
Alan Rickman as Professor Snape protects the children.
Listen, I already told you I like Rickman.
I
so
know.
the movie
This is
Snape
all I got.
Okay.
Okay, just shut up. This is all I have.
But
Okay,
you
because
book
Snape
Snape
is so
didn't do
annoying
it.
in this. No, he is so obnoxious. in
He's
this.
so obnoxious in this whole movie.
We can all collectively agree that Book Snape is there's really no
No.
redemption for him until
so hard.
maybe like 5, 6 somewhere in there, if even that.
Yeah.
Only no, I'm not
don't
gonna say it yet. We're gonna wait till we get there.
You all remember more
We're
than
gonna
I
have a
do,
whole
so,
debate.
Yeah.
Instead of talking about
But-
the points, we're just gonna have a Snape debate one day.
But I was gonna say too, and I was like looking up, stuff for this, and someone pointed out, like, what is one thing that Snape does really well? He can read minds, right?
True.
That's one of his big powers.
Mhm.
So he
Oh,
could
yeah.
have he could have easily, when he went into that situation with the kids, Lupin, Sirius, he could have easily just been like poking around in everyone's brain and been like, oh, Sirius didn't do this. This is a real thing. And he chose not to. So that made me mad too.
Not
I was like, Snape, you did this on purpose, because he was had so much hatred directed at Sirius because of what he thought he did. He just refused to even try and acknowledge that maybe it wasn't true.
Yeah. That's the whole that's his, and I hate to use this word, but incel side. Just the guy who just harbors so much resentment and doesn't care who he hurts.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to forgive.
Doesn't know how to forgive,
he
doesn't know how to
certainly does
emotionally
not.
regulate, and that's the part of Snape we don't like.
Yeah. I agree. And there was a missed opportunity in the movie that I am forever sad we didn't get to see. So when they're leaving the Shrieking Shack and they're going down the tunnel and going back to Hogwarts, Snape is knocked out, right? Because they all knocked him out collectively in the book. So there's a whole bit where they say, next came Professor Snape, drifting creepily along, his toes hitting each stair as they descended, held up by his own wand, which was being pointed at him by Sirius. And then they continue on with them leaving, and then they state here, JK says, Harry went right after Sirius, who was still making Snape drift along ahead of them. He kept bumping his lolling head on the low ceiling. Harry had the impression that Sirius was making no effort to prevent this. And I was like, why did we not get to see Alan Rickman bobbing along down the thing?
That would have been great.
With Snape's head. I'm just like, if I could have seen anything in this movie, I would have loved it.
Oh, yeah.
To see that. Yes. And I'm so sad they didn't have that in there.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. I'm done.
Okay.
Nice.
Final thoughts. Favorite characters. Dan.
Okay. So when we're going with different characters, I'm trying to just kind of like pick the different characters that I like specifically for this movie. So I'm not going to so I don't repeat the same people. Like obviously I still like Hermione, I still like Harry, all of them.
Yeah.
So, but this one, honorably have to mention Sirius Black. He's easily one of the best characters, in the entire series. Same with Lupin. He's a good soul. He's kind, and he's always the guy that you can count on being on your side.
Loyal.
So, in addition to everybody else, these are my dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Sirius and Lupin on my list. I had to add the twins back in because they just continue to add mayhem, and I love it.
Really
yes, it's getting better and better.
Yeah, I had to mention Hermione again just because she smacks Draco, and I feel like she's a little bit more feisty in this movie. Like I feel like we're getting more than just like the bookworm, goody two shoes. So she's growing in this one a lot. She is not my favorite in the next one.
Movie or book in the next one? Because I really liked her in the next movie.
Book.
I would agree. The book. She needs to just chill out.
She needs to chill out in the book.
Movie Hermione's great. Yeah.
And then I love Buckbeak, but I love the creatures.
True.
And then I just love Trelawny.
No.
She would have been my absolute favorite professor. She's just weird and crazy. And I love divination, so it works.
Yeah, such a wacko.
I definitely see that. She's her own, not just drum, her own orchestra. She's on
seriously.
She's got her own theme in her mind.
And Emma Thompson's just so good at playing that type of character. She's done it before with the Nanny McPhee movies and some other different ones. She's just amazing.
She really is. I love her.
I love her.
Yes, so much.
We kind of took all yours. I'm sorry, Sammy.
Well, I was like, there's gonna have to be overlap because come on now. Lupin. Lupin. Yeah. I'm like, why is Lupin not in this series more? I love Lupin. I was so happy this entire book because he's just such a kind soul, and whatever he did as a teenager, you can tell he really grew up.
Right.
And there's such a contrast too between him and Sirius, which Sirius was locked up, so I get it. Like Sirius is gonna have, first of all, some crazy from being around Dementors all that time. Yeah, and he was locked up at such a young age. He didn't grow up the same way. Exactly. So it's interesting to see that contrast. But Lupin is just so caring towards Harry and gentle, and I just love him. And Fred and George, because if we didn't have them, we would not have the map. So
that is true.
Their mischief brought us the wondrous map. Yes.
Again, I need movies of just Fred and George, or books of just Fred and George,
just to see what they're up to on the side.
Years. Just the first couple of years when they're not, Harry and Ron aren't at school, and then what happens after they leave the fifth book. like their own stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to imagine them like like as adolescents, because they know their mischief got a lot more detailed as they got older. But like, imagine them like Harry's age in the first movie. You know, kids. Like, I imagine that would be just a whole different, whole different thing.
There was a TikTok of like someone did like the parents having parent teacher conferences at Hogwarts, and Molly coming in, Minerva. What did the twins do again? Like, it was so.
It's so accurate though.
Oh, yeah.
But then in that one, she's like, Ron. What do you mean, Ron?
Ron did something.
Their names are Fred and George.
You're confused. Wrong kid.
Yeah,
this is the wrong kid. Wrong child.
I do want to say something about Lupin. You said like, so he's mellowed out, but I really wonder if he. Like, yeah, he probably went along with a lot of the shenanigans that James and Sirius put together, but he probably was the more grounded one out of the four.
Like Lily.
Like, yeah, and Lily was very kind to him. He talks about that in this book. And he was probably more of like the father of these boys, where he went along with it to make sure they didn't die, is what my guess is.
That's
because he already has a violent side of him. He already has the werewolf side that he can't control. So so I always felt like, and I still feel this way, that Lupin wants to be the opposite of what he turns into when he's not a werewolf. So I think as a kid, he was more on the grounded side.
A little mellow, a little more.
Yeah. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite scenes, Dan?
Night bus. I forgot how much I love the night bus scene.
Yeah.
And this
it's so good.
Yeah. Really, anytime like there's that what do you call it? The transition from the Dursleys to the world of magic. Like, anytime that happens, and that happens in almost all the movies except for Goblet of Fire, which
is dumb.
Yeah, it's annoying, but it's nice to wake up away from the Dursleys for once, though. That isn't
true.
Nice. That. But yeah, so I love that night bus. It's like, the turning fears into something funny, classic scene. Maybe one day someone will actually explain to me how the pop-up clown is in any way better.
It wasn't better.
Thank you. I'm like, this is horrendous.
Not better.
No.
Not worse.
I'm watching this late at night. I'm watching this at night the other day.
No.
I'm like, all right, that's it. No.
And it's not even like it looks like it's attempting to be cute or anything. It looks freaking creepy.
It's a creepy clown. It is a creepy clown in a Jack-in-the-Box that's, 9 feet tall? No.
What is wrong with that girl? I don't understand.
Well, she's like Patel.
Messed up in her head, okay?
That was one of the Patel.
Really?
I don't know which one it was, but
it was one of them.
She needs some therapy, because seriously.
I think he said it was Pavardi.
It might have been.
Because I remember him saying, Pavardi, go, or something like that.
I don't know. And it's just rocking back and forth.
And I so wonder horrific. If it knows that
it's exactly how it looks.
Be creepy before it turned into a Dementor. Like, I think that was an artistic.
That is a Dementor.
I know.
It's so terrible.
So bad.
Like, what is wrong with some of you? I mean, I like clowns, but only when I'm trying to scare people.
Nope, don't like clowns.
That was his point. There is one place for clowns, and it is horror movies, haunted houses. Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, thank you.
Exactly. But beyond that, great scene. Yeah. Fantastic scene. And good just life advice. And that's one thing I like about the movie. There's a lot of good life advice there.
That's so true.
Yeah. The boys making weird animal noises in their bunks when they first get into their bunks, like that's just like you ever want to know what it's like inside a boys' dorm? That's what it's like right there. That's in college. When we're all get together and it's late at night, in case you were wondering, Ashley, what it was like back at SEU, that's what it was like. That's the kind of stuff we used to do.
You don't want to know the stuff we did.
No, probably not. But just stupid, idiotic stuff that we used to do. And, we may or may not have, I never did it, but there may have been someone lighting their farts on fire at one point. That may have happened.
Boys.
Which one?
I don't think you remember him.
Oh, it wasn't either of our boys in our group.
No, it wasn't any of us. I mean, I witnessed it, but I wasn't really close with the guy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, which one? Ralph or Rob? Which idiot did it?
No.
Okay, we need to keep going. You've missed it. You have one more scene on here you liked.
Right. So, oh yeah, yeah, and I think that's most people can probably like this one when Harry officially releases his Patronus. Like that's that big, you know, living up to it climax moment. You know, and I just mostly because I remember him yelling that from the trailers back in the day. You know, like it would show him like, you know, the zoom out where he goes like that, expecto Patrona, you know, that whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like knowing that in context and like what the build up to that is, it makes it that much more like impactful, you know, and like how much he had to go through in order to get to that. So, yeah, great scene, great movie. Yeah, it's all good. It's all quite good.
Yeah. Of course, the shrunken heads on the bus. Any place where the shrunken heads are, I'm all for it in this movie. I wish there were more shrunken heads throughout the movies. Like they could have just put them randomly in there. I would have been happy. I love the scene of Harry first flying on Buckbeak. And just the joy he has. And like, I always love the scene where Buckbeak goes so low, like his feet touch the water. And I'm not going to lie, on Hogwarts Legacy, I've like relived that because you get to ride a hippogriff in Hogwarts Legacy. And I always like making my hippogriff go down to the water and like squirt the little water. And then the monster in the lake comes up. Like behind it. It's really cool. Sorry, I'm getting nerdy. But that scene is just really cool. And then I love everything. I agree with everything that you said, Dan, except the boys making weird noises. That was whatever.
It's fun.
It's a fun scene.
Like my favorite scene.
It's like, oh, you boys in your locker room talk. That is our locker room talk.
I believe
but divination class, anything with divination class. I love Hermione, and sometimes I channel Hermione when I'm reading the books, like for myself, but when I'm watching like when I was younger, but now I feel like I'm more Trelawny because the whole speech she did to Hermione about your what was it? Your something as dry as the pages, the books that you cling so close to, or something. That whole scene, I love it. I think it was so needed. I think Hermione needed to hear it, and I wish she would have taken it to heart because. Dang it all, she is shriveled up inside like the books that she clings so closely to.
A really roundabout, it's a really roundabout way of saying you're all theory, no practice.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I love the theatrics when she's like, the grim.
It's so hilarious.
The grim.
It's so funny.
No, it's just perfect, Dan.
I love it. I just wish you had the glasses that she did.
If you do not put this on TikTok or Instagram, I'm going to be very mad at you.
It will be. Trust me. It will be.
So yeah, that was amazing. And then I also like what Sammi is about to talk about too, but I'll let her talk about it.
So I don't know. I was like, just the entire time turner thing. I just loved it when they're retracing their steps and going back. And even though I know it's different from the book, I love the movie version of it. It's just so much fun watching them, you know, try and stay hidden. And then like the little things, like even with Hermione's little, you know, comment about her hair. Is that what my hair looks like from the back? And I'm just like, I feel like I would do that too. I'd be like, is that really what I look like?
That's what every girl thinks when we look at the back of our hair.
Like what?
Like you look in the mirror and you're like, that really
what's going on back here? Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just like, I feel that, Hermione. I get you. I
every girl was like
I totally understand. And just the way that they have to come up with their plan so quickly to rescue Buckbeak and then get Sirius and like, and to go back with what Dan said too, that whole tie-in with Harry and the Patronus, and then the way he was just like, I did it because I knew I could do it because I'd already done it. So I just love that whole little tie-in there. I thought that was fun, but the whole sequence just makes the movie. I love it.
It really does.
And when Sirius and Harry have their little heart-to-heart before he leaves, it's just so special and just makes me automatically love Sirius. It was so nice. I just love that little scene. And then, like you said, like literally divination. And I think a lot of that is because of Emma being Trelawney. It's just so funny. It just cracks me up. Yeah. That's all I got. All right. You want to do your favorite lines, Dan?
Sure. Let's see. Okay, we start off with, you know, it's not even like a big one. It's just I always thought it was clever, just the way he said it. Oh, we don't send people to Azkaban for blowing up their aunt.
Me too.
The ever so quotable Snape being Snape. Page 394.
Best thing ever.
I can't do his voice. I'm still trying to do Alan Rickman's voice.
I know it's such.
It's difficult.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. He's got such a unique sound to his
Mm-hmm.
voice. But then the line right after that, or right before that, tell me, are you incapable of restraining yourself, or do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
So mean.
So mean.
But mildly accurate. Not mildly.
But it is also true.
Yeah. I mean, she's not insufferable, but she is a know-it-all.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
She is
She
a
gets
know-it-all.
better as time goes on after the
does.
fourth.
She does.
Yes, she does, honestly.
Worse in the fourth, and then she gets better after.
Yeah, she calms down. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She hits her peak in the fourth.
There you go. Yeah. We all grow up at our different paces, as long as we get there.
So when's Ron getting there?
Never.
He gets there. In I don't know about the books, but in the movie Deathly Hallows Part 2, he gets there.
I was gonna say, I know you're about to say
Confesses his love
Deathly
to Hermione,
Hallows.
He gets there.
I knew you were about to say the second part of Deathly Hallows, which is the very last possible minute he could.
It's true though, but he does get there.
Fine. Like at the
Yes.
end.
Yes, he does. All right.
Better than never.
I guess, yes.
Exactly. It's like I said, if you were to take the trope, he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit, that you could put Ron's picture right there next to it. That is Ron.
Maybe more than a little confused, but yeah, pretty much.
Depends on the
there.
day.
I mean, you hear him, we'll get there eventually, but when he confesses his love to Hermione officially, I felt that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have words about that later, but okay.
Yeah, we'll get
We'll get there.
Not about that, just how it leads up to that. I'm just like, it's literally the high school trope of your bully finally falling in love with you.
Isn't that what everybody wants, though? Don't we all want that?
No.
No.
Was it? That's not the enemies to lovers thing that we're all obsessed with nowadays.
I'm not obsessed with enemies to lovers, but the rest of the world
not you
apparently
specifically,
is.
but I mean, every
Yes, the rest of
That is a big
Book Talk.
thing.
I
Yeah.
mean,
A big thing on Book Talk.
Book Talk, or any kind of young adult fan fiction, or any kind of ASMR role play. It's always, hey, your bully falls in love with you, or any kind of, hey, your bully protects you from other bullies and then they fall in love with you, or hey, you're trapped in a room with your worst enemy and they fall in love with you. It's like, why do you hate yourself, people? Anyway,
True.
says the guy who's a bit of a freak in his own way. So y'all don't know nothing about that.
Oh, move on.
Anyway, so quotes. Okay, so I'll save the serious one for last, and then the Snape coming in and going after these to Lupin and was it Lupin and Sirius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen to you quarreling like an old married couple.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good line.
Snape being Snape. And then when Lupin's teaching the class and it was Neville, what scares you? And Neville admits it, Professor Snape. Yes, he frightens us all.
Yes, Lupin.
But just how he says it. He says it so mischievously. Yes.
Frightens us all.
Yep. Classic. And then finally the serious one, in the very beginning, happiness can be found in the darkest of places if one only remembers to turn on the light.
Yes.
So, I kind of went back to picturing Alec Guinness saying that line when I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of try to hear it in his voice.
I like it.
That's all I got for that.
So for mine, I love when she's like, when did she get here? Did you see her come in? Like, he's so confused. He's the only one who notices that she was not there and then she's there. So I love that scene. And I remember reading the book like the first time and feeling like the book was dragging on. Like it felt very dragged out. And then when we get to the time turner scene, when we realize what's happening, we're like, that was clever, JK. Like she literally made us feel what they were feeling as the time turner was lengthening the day. So that was very, very clever. Good job, JK. And then I don't think I got this completely right because I tried to do this off of memory, but it's Sirius when he was talking about James. He said, James always thought I should make the change permanent, talking about becoming a dog, but I couldn't do it. The fleas are murder. And I love that line. I thought it was so good. Now some of these are from the book. The rest of these are kind of from the book. So at some point, Ron says, don't let the muggles get you down. Sirius said when he's trying to get pedigree, he's like, I want to commit the murder I was imprisoned for.
Yep.
And then Harry was a little bit more enthusiastic when Sirius said something about him coming to live with him. He says, are you insane? Of course I want to leave the Dursleys. Have you got a house? When can we move in? Or when can I move in? So it's very, very and I think his excitement, showing the excitement helps us understand more of the realization of like, oh crap, I gotta go back to the Dursleys.
Yeah.
But it's nice kind of seeing them what they deserve though.
Yes. Wait, the Dursleys? Wait.
In the beginning of this movie, anyway.
Oh, the aunt, yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, because at the beginning he's
in the first couple of
movies, he says
movies,
something
like,
about doing the wand, and Dursley's like, you can't do magic. He's like, you want to see me try? Like,
you want to challenge me, buddy?
Some rules.
But seeing that they're actually afraid of him, you know, like they're losing their power. Because in the first couple of movies, they still kind of have the power dynamic, but now it's like shifting.
Yeah, it starts to change.
Very satisfying to see.
Changed. I also put Cornelius Fudge's in the book. He says, why, dear boy, we don't set wizards to Azkaban just for blowing up their aunts. Just a little different wording when they did it in the movie. And then the Sirius Albus from the book. I forgot about this line. I got to find it in the book. You think the dead we love truly ever leave us? You think that we don't recall them more clearly in times of great trouble? I love that line. And it's a very foreshadowing line to the next book. Because he does see his family in the most troubled moment of his time.
And the last one too. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he has the stone.
That was the first one. 2 movies.
What's the last book? That's what I was thinking. The last book. When he has the stone. And he's going to face Voldemort.
I thought when you said the last one, you meant like Chamber of Secrets. I'm like, what?
The other way.
You mean like the 7th. Okay, I'm tracking you. I'm tracking
that way. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's the direction of the last.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sammi.
All right. So going back to what I was saying for one of the scenes I loved when Sirius is talking to Harry, and he says, but this is the end of it. But he says, but know this. The ones that love us never really leave us, and you can always find them in here. And he puts his hand on Harry's heart. And I'm just like, oh.
I wonder if he didn't say that in the book and Albus actually said it.
I don't know.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I really can't remember.
Because they're very similar.
Yeah, they're very similar, which, I thought that was funny. Because they're like very similar thoughts. And then, of course, there's I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Classic Harry Potter line. Yeah. And when Ron is looking at the TV and he tells Harry, oh yeah, well, Harry's got a sort of wonky cross. That's trials and suffering. And that there could be the sun, and that's happiness. So you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it. And I just love it so much.
Yeah.
So many funny bits.
That. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Again, a little confused, but he got the spirit.
He did suffer, but he was happy about it.
He was happy about it.
So Ron was accurate in his tea reading.
Ron was very accurate.
There you go.
Yeah,
like I
he
said,
was correct.
He's not a total idiot.
Not always.
Not always. Not always. He's got his moments.
Yeah.
I thought we had something else on here, so I'm just going to add it. Mischief managed is also a very good line.
That's a good one. That is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's kids being kids. That's what it is. You know, it's a rite of passage. You get into trouble.
And then Go ahead.
Well, I said I forgot to add the Marauders map lines of
the whole thing
from the movie and
I
from
can't
the
remember.
book.
Yeah.
The movie is Messis, Mooney, Wormtail, and
Padfoot and Prongs. Yeah.
Padfoot and Prongs would like to compliment Snape and tell him to leave his big nose out of other people's business.
Right.
Yeah, that is
one.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I know that I think
the book one. Let's see.
I think Wormtail tells him he needs to wash his greasy hair or something in the book.
Probably.
Which he does.
I mean, when's the last time Snape showered realistically? Probably never.
Probably never.
Let's be realistic about
it. Probably thinks showers are for like weak men or something.
He probably
man, I stink like a man.
That is so true.
183. Sorry, I'm trying to find the chapter.
Oh, where the actual quote is?
Yeah. I believe it's in the Marauders map section.
Yeah, when Snape is trying to like reveal your secrets or whatever.
Reveal your secrets. I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, that's when he gets it. I don't know.
No, okay. But it's very funny.
But it's hilarious.
And another thing that I've always seen online, it makes me laugh when you think about it, is the twins had the map for however long, so they can see everybody walking around, right? And so no one says anything to Ron when he has this guy named Peter Pettigrew hanging out in the room with him in his bed. They never say anything. And that always makes me laugh so much to think about the fact that they must have seen Peter Pettigrew like hanging out with Ron, but they never like acknowledge
everywhere
it.
He goes.
Exactly. That just makes me laugh.
Part of me wonders if they just kind of knew. And like, wonder. I mean, they had to have learned about animaguses by this point in their career, like their schooling. So part of me wonders if they knew the rat was an animagus, because it's been around for 12 years, and they just decided, you know what, to each their own.
Just hang out with him. That's fine, Ron. Yeah, I have questions for the twins.
Yeah, chapter 14. Sorry, I'm looking it up. I want to know.
Oh, the actual quote. Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, it's not just a quote. It's like a whole thing. Okay. Professor Severus Snape, master of this school, commands you to yield the information you conceal. Master of this school? Okay.
Snape.
You see why
So funny. Oh boy.
As though an invisible hand was writing upon it, words appeared on the smooth surface of the map. Mr. Mooney presents his compliments to Professor Snape and begs him to keep his abnormally large nose out of other people's business. Snape froze. Harry stared, dumbstruck at the message, but the map didn't stop there. More writing was appearing beneath the first. Mr. Prongs agrees with Mr. Mooney and would like to add that Professor Snape is an ugly git. Which one's which? Who's Mooney?
Mooney is Lupin.
Lupin. Prongs is James.
Yes.
Padfoot is
Sirius.
And then Wormtail is Wormtail. Okay. It would have been very funny if the situation hadn't been so serious, and there was more. Mr. Padfoot would like to register his astonishment that an idiot like that ever became a professor.
So mean.
Harry closed his eyes in horror. When he opened them, the map had its last word. Mr. Wormtail bids Professor Snape good day and advises him to wash his hair, the slime ball.
The slime ball, that's right.
Harry waited for the blow to follow.
It's still funny. After all this time, it's still funny.
Always.
I will not get over that now. Professor Snape, master of this school.
Show me yours. That's my new way I'm going to refer to him. So we're going to talk about Professor Snape, master of Hogwarts. Oh boy.
Thank you. Whoever wrote the script, thank you for changing that to show your secrets or reveal to me your secrets.
So funny.
Dear Lord. Okay. Now.
He really does have issues.
Ignore the schedule on the back of my card.
I'm going to only pay attention to the schedule forever.
Then you will know what my boyfriend's schedule is at work.
Okay.
So I have counted 4 times in this movie/book Hermione has saved Harry's butt.
Mm-hmm.
1, if we go off the movie, the rocks to the head.
Mm-hmm.
2, the time turner.
Mm-hmm.
3, figuring out a way to get Buckbeak to move. Or maybe just not saving Harry, just saving everyone.
Right.
Let's do it. Hermione saving everyone in this movie.
That is true.
And
She saved lots of people. Mm-hmm.
When they go to get Sirius, guess who is the only one who knows how to unlock the door?
I forgot about that. Freaking Harry.
Aloha Mora.
Harry.
Seriously. Harry would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even do a basic spell, man.
Nope. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
We are up to 7 in 3 books that Hermione has saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
We still have a whole other book, which I don't know if she really does much saving days next book. She's more annoying than anything. I don't know. We'll find out.
I remember being annoyed by her. I just can't remember specifically what she does to annoy me in the book.
The spears.
There's a lot.
I'm sure there's a lot. It'll come back to me when we go over it.
Yeah.
I just remember her like when Harry and Ron like make up after their like tiff or whatever, and she hugs them both, and she goes, "Oh, boys are so stupid." I remember that.
I love in the movie. She just looks at him astonished. She's like, "Boys,"
Right?
Which is funny because it's a role reverse. Because normally it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk more about that in the next.
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm.
Episode. So, friends, thank you so much for joining us for Prisoner of Azkaban. I hope you learned some things, and if you have any interesting opinions, please go to our social media and comment. Also, be on the lookout for the lovely video of Dan doing the Emma Thompson face very close to the camera.
So funny.
So until next time. Knox.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Twins podcast featuring Dan. The show is written and produced by Ashley and Sammi, except for those manifestos, which are all written by Dan himself. Intro and audio editing by Sammi, logo created by Ashley. This show is produced as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Network. Make sure you check out all of our other shows and have a magical day.